The Central Club.
Do you need a work uniform? Want to start a clothing brand? Or maybe you have a football kit that needs a logo printed? Well, if I was you, I'd get in touch with the Re-Inspire Printing Company down Treforest Industrial Estate for the finest printing and embroidery in Wales. I use them for my custom-made mankini, but you could use them for t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and many, many other things. Do you paint houses? Fancy yourself as a bit of a handyman? Well, if I was you, I'd get yourself down to S&M Building Supplies near Victoria Park, Cowbridge Road East. We use them to paint up the Central Club, and it's looking fresh. But you can use them for tools, decking, sand, cement, and many, many other things. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Central Club. This episode is brought to you by Re-Inspire Printing and S&M Decorators. Today's episode is only the third female we've ever had here at the Central Club. She's a very bright character in all the senses. Bright mind, bright future, and certainly a bright car. No. She's an entrepreneur, but most importantly, she's a businesswoman. Her most well-known company is PINKSPIRATION, and she's now here to give us inspiration. It's Lisa Marie Brown.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited to be on the show. Thanks for having me on today. I just can't wait to have a chat about, inspiring other people and how, we can help others to make their dreams a reality.
Thank you, Lisa, for coming down. I really appreciate it. What we do with all our guests before we get into the inspiring bits is take you back from the beginning, just a little background about who you are, where you're from. Could you take us back to where you grew up?
Yeah, so my nan lived on the first council estate in Cardiff, in Llanedin. So she lived in 333 Chapelwood, and I was really excited and loved being brought up in that community. It was such a nice area, and it was, everyone was all about family and, having fun. My nan was a really big character in a local community. So I was brought up there, and then I also then moved from there to Roath. I lived on Inverness Place and then went to Albany Road Primary School. And again, really nice community in that area, and just really enjoyed being, brought up in Cardiff, really. And then from there moved to Lanishon. And now, I've just moved out to by the sea. Just had to design my own house, which is really cool. Some of you might have seen it online, which we're selling. But I'm excited.
Was it sold? I think I seen it was sold, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we had a few people interested in buying it.
Okay.
But yeah, I got to design and build my own houses. And when I was younger, my dad really, took me under his wing. I was like daddy's girl, so always into construction and cars. And I think that's where my passion came in, really, for construction and supercars.
Did you say you were brought up by your nan, though, was it?
Yeah, so I wasn't actually brought up by my nan, but I spent a lot of time with her.
Right. Was she into supercars?
No, my nan wasn't, no. No. She's, my nan, when we were younger, what we used to do is mainly just go to the pub on a Saturday, have the family round. Everyone would pop over to my nan's. There'd be a big family orientated.
What was Llanedin like then? You said it was the first council estate built, was it?
Yeah.
What was that like then? What was that, the late 70s, 80s maybe?
Yeah, so, in the early 80s, lots of people were like really community spirited, and we were always going in and out of other people's houses, playing games, and you know what it's like in Cardiff. Everyone was really family friendly, and I think they were some of the best years of my life, to be honest. Going spending time with people. My nan was a really big character in the local area, so it was fantastic.
Was this your father's mother or mother's mother?
So my mum's mum.
Okay.
And everyone, used to meet over my nan's house on a Saturday, or the family used to come over, and they used to go up the pub, and my nan used to put a 50p bet on in the bookies and dance on the tables. And we used to go up the pub. She used to have half a cider, which is probably where my love for cider came in. Some of my family, own different pubs and run them. So
really?
I was always in and out of pubs when I was younger.
What was school life like for you?
Yeah, so school, I enjoyed school. When probably in high school, it was a little bit more challenging, possibly for me, I think. And then, I just think,
in what way, like challenging, like grades or like? Yeah,
so in high school, I think lots of people face like bullying and things like that. So I enjoyed school, but it wasn't the, most fun place to be.
Why would you say, was there a reason why they were targeting you, or?
I think just, possibly because you're different, and sometimes I think when you're different, people can be targeted in different ways. But I think, to be honest with you, that sometimes builds the character and the people that you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, as you get older, I think, all these experiences that you have can shape you into the person that you are today.
Most definitely. Like you said so your father was kind of the man who shaped you into being into cars and stuff. Was he a mechanic or?
No, so my dad had his own construction business,
Okay.
and he built a number of houses from scratch. So we were constantly living on site. So I lived in a caravan actually in the back of my house for like 3 years, whilst he was renovating the house. And then he always had me picking up a paintbrush, like, Lisa, pick that up, paint that, do this, do that.
Was he an entrepreneur as well? Like,
yeah, he was quite entrepreneurial, and always worked in industry. And I think that's where my my trade skills come from, and being quite practical and hands-on.
Of course.
So yeah, I learned a lot from my dad. I think he left, my mum and dad separated them when I was 10. And then that was, a bit of a challenging period, because like any separation is always like tough. To deal with. But I just feel thankful for the experiences and the opportunities that I've been presented. And I think, sometimes these experiences, they actually shape you into the person that you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, he always had me sitting in a car from when I was younger. He had me driving a car on private land, on a beach. He sat me in the driver's seat, I think when I was 14, 15, something like that. There you go, get in the driver's seat.
Nice.
And I think it's some of these things that actually shape you and shape your character and your personality.
What about your mother? Did she have any inspiration on you?
Yeah, my mum was amazing. She, again, was always like very caring and kind, and always giving back to the community. So, always helping out in jumble sales and helping out with charities. And now she works over at the allotment, and she's, really inspiring character. And I've learned a lot from my mum, in the sense that, I think, in life, sometimes it's not always about the amount of money that you earn, but it's about what you do for other people around you.
100%.
And I think it's, we can share, our skills and help other people along the way. And I've learned that a lot from some of the female role models in my life. So like my mum and my nan, sometimes it's about being that friendly person, that can help someone along the way. And I think, part of that is in my DNA as well. So I love inspiring and helping young people and women and girls. And that is in my character. So I think, for me, it's not necessarily about like money and how much money that you earn. It's more about what you can give back and how we can help other people in our local community.
Yeah.
And I always believe, like, I always had like positive role models around me. And if I can be a positive role model to others and help them along their way, I think it's really good. Because
it's like I was saying to you, isn't it? When you become successful, the success is no longer what's giving you that happiness. It's sharing the success.
Yeah.
Bringing people up with you.
Some people, I think, are different, though.
Yeah.
Some people are quite greedy, and you could say as soon as they hit a certain
they get like this.
height, yeah, they're like that. They don't want to let it go. But that's what it seems with you. You really like to share and grow and find new things to do and involve other people, and that's really good, So when you was in school, then. Did you ever think you would do what you're doing now?
No.
What was your interest in school? Like, what did you think you was going to be when you was older?
What was I interested in school? Boys, I think I was interested in school. Going out, having a party when I was younger. But then I think, when I was younger, I was always into cars, customizing my own cars. I always had the latest car. Always wanted to drive, pass my driving test first.
When you say like, I've always had the latest car, always customize the car, like. Well, how did you afford these things? Because obviously it's quite expensive to buy the latest car and that. Like, what were you doing anything then to get those cars? Like,
yeah, so I was just working hard. I always worked, sometimes 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, just to do my passion.
Yeah.
I always worked 10, 11 hours a day. I went to university. When I was in university, I was then working in Tesco's 6 p.m. till 1 in the morning. I was getting back up at 8 a.m, back into college.
What
back
sort
to
of jobs
Tesco.
were you working like?
So I worked in a fruit and veg shop. I worked in Tesco's. I worked part-time in a bank. I've done all sorts of different jobs. And I've always, put the hours in and thought, right, if I want to change direction, then, you need to, work hard then to shape the person that you want to be. So I think for me, I've always put the hours in and always worked quite hard. And I think sometimes you do think, I'm grinding. Is this paying back? Constantly.
Of course.
Because I can imagine when you're working like 2 jobs, you're not getting any social life.
I
you're
think it's
spending
boring
most of your life working.
with some people though. Like some people just.
Well, when did you decide actually I want to be an entrepreneur? Like when did that happen?
Yeah, so probably from about the age of I think it's 21, I started to think that I wanted to start my own business and do my own thing. And I would always worked in construction. I always liked cars, but obviously when I was younger, there wasn't really those options for girls to get into construction or supercars. Or race around in cars.
Did you want to do that though at that age? Did you know that's what you wanted to do,
Yeah,
or was it just like there's not many offers there of this type of work, so we never entered your mind? Or?
So I always worked on renovating my own homes and labouring on all my own projects, and then pulling people in to help me along the way. So I've renovated now about 100 empty spaces, empty shops, empty homes. I've bought and sold, I think, 4 or 5 properties.
How did you get into that?
So my dad was working in industry, and I just basically carried on.
So your dad kind of mentored you into that?
He mentored me into that path. And then with the cars, I was always customising my own cars as a hobby, really, on the weekends and evenings. So I'd work in the weekday, usually in construction or help, on site, and then on the weekends customising my own cars. And then that grew from, customising. I had Volkswagen GTI, a Peugeot. I had all sorts of different cars. And then, over the last sort of, few years, and I think my first big car that I'd customised was working with Maserati. And then I got to customise the first pink Maserati in the UK, and so I worked with them and launched that. I think it was about 5 years ago.
How do you like? Do you just go to them and say, I'm going to customise, or have you got to like pay them to do this? Or?
Yeah, so you have to buy the cars.
Oh no, because it sounds like you're just like, hey Lisa, hey Lisa, I've seen you customise some cars. Can you customise one of our cars? That's what it sounds like to me. When you say it.
Yeah, no. So with Maserati, I started at PINKSPIRATION 11.
Do you know before you went into PINKSPIRATION, were you mentored by Richard Branson before or after that?
Just after. So I worked with Richard Branson and the Virgin Media team for around 4 or 5 years.
That's just mad, isn't it? God,
yeah. And I basically I read all his books online. I always read and listened to business books. I always watched business topics on YouTube. I was always researching online. Most of the things I've learned from a YouTuber online.
Wow.
That's mad, because you can get a lot of information on business on YouTube nowadays, can't you?
Yeah. So I started reading Richard Branson's books, and then I attended a few events with him in London. And there was one big event that I went up to, and there was 10,000 people in the room, and the tickets to go and sit in the front row were like £2,500.
I can imagine.
So I spoke to my other half. I said, I'm thinking about going to this event, and he said, I said, it's £2,500. He said, what? He said, you're not going to pay that amount to go to a business event. He said, you can go on around the world trip for that. So I was like, he's got a good point. So I basically bought the standard ticket to attend the event. It was a 3-day business show. It was like £100 for 3 days. So when I got into the show, I went into the show, and there was 10,000 people in the XL in London, and there was like a VIP section at the front, and there was the rest, standard tickets then at the back. So when I walked into the show the first day, I went right to the back, and there was 10,000 people in this hall. And I thought, I can't be sat at the back. What's going on?
You were an ant.
So I thought, I'm not going to learn nothing sat at the back.
You was a pink ant.
Yeah. I just went to Vegas and bought some of these suits that I got in the sale. I was wearing this pink suit, and I thought the next day, that's it. I thought, I'm going to the front, damn it. So I walked straight into the front in the VIP section. I was like, morning, morning. And the security guys were like, morning. And I just walked straight in.
Oh my gosh.
Sat right in the front row. And I sat there and I was
Were you nervous to do that?
I was really nervous. Really
do you know
nervous.
what though? It's like we had Ibi Tarafta on, and he was talking about sacrifices and that, and like he
I was brave.
You have to sometimes though. Most people will shut themselves down before they even try to go inside.
Yeah.
And you got to fight. You kind of got to fight your anxiety, haven't you? Do you know what I'm saying?
So I was like, morning, everyone, morning, and they were like, oh, morning, Lisa. They just waved at me. I was like, hi, security. I walked in and sat sat in the front row, and I sat there and I was like, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah, but it's not even like you had like a black. You was wearing pink, like you kind of stood out. Like that's
Just
the
a
funniest
little
thing of
bit.
it.
So yeah, I sat at the front row, and then I
You was
sat,
a VIP before you was in VIP.
I was a VIP, yeah. But I just thought I got to make this happen. I can't sit at the back. I have to try and push my way to the front, and be a bit bold. So I sat in the front with Richard Branson, and Lord Sugar was there, and I was sat there.
Just made himself a seat
I was
next
like,
to him.
morning, and they were like, morning, morning, Pink. So yeah, I just sat there and thought, it's a good opportunity for me to, try and learn more from entrepreneurs like Richard Branson and Lord Sugar. And I was sat there in the front and asked them a couple of questions. And then afterwards, when they were in the back section, the VIP section, I was like, I'm going in. And then I went in and then had a chat to them. And then from there, they signed me up to some program. I was sat back in the VIP section then with all the, probably millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs. I was chatting to them, learning from them. Because I think that's the best thing in life, really, is trying to learn from successful
Being around people like we say it all the time, is who you hang around with or who you're around.
Yeah.
Which really rubs off on yourself. There's a valuable lesson to be learned there, really, isn't there? For people out there, it's just
it's just to be bold and put yourself out there. And sometimes, everybody gets nervous. I was thinking, I'm not sure if I can do it. But actually just putting yourself forward and trying to overcome your fears that you might have. Yeah. And sometimes I think it's in your head as well. Like you talk yourself out of certain things. And actually, you just got to take a deep breath and go, right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's just go for it. Let's put our fears to one side and let's just do it. And then, had the opportunity then to work with like Richard Branson and Virgin Media. They actually paid me to go up to London to work with Richard Branson. And I started working with them then.
And even then though, when you sign up, you don't just sign up and become rich or whatever. No. You've still got a graph then. They're just teaching you.
Yeah.
They're just teaching you knowledge.
I was just learning from the best people in the world. And I was working with their like head of brand, head of team, head of investment. And I just took it as a great opportunity.
People pay a lot of money for that. Yeah. The fact they paid you for that, it's not like
So
what were the sort of things you were learning?
So I was learning about business. I was attending events with like Pitch to Richard Branson, and then any events that they hosted in London, I would come back to Cardiff and replicate in a smaller version.
Oh. So did they know you was doing that?
I'm not sure many people knew I was doing that.
Success is replicated anyway.
Success is replicated. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel. But obviously I didn't have millions of budgets, that Richard Branson has, Virgin Media, but I could replicate it in my own way. Okay. So, I may have had slightly smaller budgets, but I basically replicated a lot of what I learned and brought it back to Cardiff to teach other people. So like now I'm doing a competition, Pitch to Win, £2,000, to encourage other entrepreneurs to pitch in and win investment, because that's what they were the opportunities I was afforded. And I think you have to share that success with other people. But I working with Richard Branson, my website went from, I think I was having about 1,000 hits a year on it, went up to like 150,000 hits.
Wow. So that's like 150, could you like times
quadruple by 150,000 times?
So it was pretty challenging, because I was just getting all these emails on my laptop, and I was like, and then Richard Branson added me on LinkedIn and he was following me, and I was
What's
on my
the feeling?
It was amazing. I ran around my living room.
One of the richest men in the world.
Yeah, I was like, this is amazing.
Before we do go into like what you're doing on them, obviously you went in a pink dress. Why pink?
So I think because I've always been typically a tomboy when I was younger, into construction, cars, boxing. I enjoyed doing boxing fitness.
Gangster rap.
Amazing trainers, like a bit of rap music. I just thought, for me, pink is a good colour to sort of celebrate and embrace, success. And so I just basically, lots of people call me the Pink Lady, because I was training, upskilling young people and young women. So I was teaching them trade skills. I bought some pink high-vis vests and pink hard hats from America.
I've seen them. They're sick.
It hit local and national press. And then I just adopted, because people called me the Pink Lady, I just adopted that as my, as my brand, really. And that's where the pink came from. But for me, I think, the business PINKSPIRATION inspires young people and transforms communities. I fully and 100% wholeheartedly believe in that. And, I believe in, training and upskilling young people to make a difference. And I always believe that no matter what you do in life, everyone deserves a second chance to make a difference. So I've always had some really great people around me, and I think it's part of my role really to share that with others. And if I can help to transform the community I live, I've always lived in Cardiff, so I always do projects in the local area, and I think it's really positive that I'm successful in my own right, but I can also give back then to other people.
Nice.
Has founding your own business come with a price, mental health, anything like that?
So setting up my own business, you obviously have to be quite independent. I've had a few challenges around mental health, in lockdown and in isolation. I took it quite hard, first of all, because it hit me when I was very active in the local area, and then obviously we went into lockdown.
I think the first lockdown was probably the
first lockdown was quite tough for me personally, and I just missed things like meeting up with my family, meeting up with my friends in a pub, going to meet them for coffee.
Yeah.
But I think lots of people were in that situation as well, where they felt really isolated.
Yeah, well, do you know what it is?
Disconnected.
For you, especially because you're working so hard, you're grafting, and like you said, you're a social person. You take all of that away in one night.
It's like clucking from
it's
heroin.
Like, what have I got?
Yeah. Basically,
it is,
and you can just spiral down from there, can't you?
Yeah, but within the first lockdown, I did struggle quite a lot for about 4 or 5 months, and then what happened? I was really successful within those 5 months. So I just bought and sold 3 houses. It was £1.2 million of property transactions.
When did you make your first mill? I want to know when you made your first mill.
I actually bought and sold the houses on Facebook. So the story behind that is basically we went into lockdown and I had one of my houses on the market, and the market went into crash. So all the property. It was last year, the lockdown,
first
lockdown,
the lockdown,
March
2020.
Yeah,
2020.
2020 was the first lockdown.
March.
Yeah, it was March.
27.
So yeah, in March 2020, I was due to sell some of my houses, and then we had lockdown. So both the housing market went into freeze, and I sat back and I was thinking, I wanted to move out and move somewhere new, try and expand.
What area was this?
So this was in Lanishan.
Nice, okay.
And then basically in the first lockdown, all the property market went into freeze. So I sat back and I thought, right, Lisa, what are you going to do about this? All the houses are falling through. I thought you wanted to sell and move. So it took me a week and I thought, right, what am I going to do about this? Come on, you can do this yourself. You can do it yourself. So I put the houses on Facebook and I sold them both.
Sold it on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook's good like that.
I just didn't like, I don't know.
I sold them both within 4 weeks. I had 4 viewings on each house, and I did the viewings myself. And then I bought a new house and I closed down £1.2 million worth of property transactions in 12 weeks.
And like you just said, was that like your first mill, or have you made mills before that?
That was my first biggest property deal that I've ever done.
How much money do you think you've put into business before your first mill?
I probably, before that, I was always generating content for online, and I probably invested close to 200,000. But what I would do is I would create content. I would get a photographer working with me. I'd pay them. We produce the content and we put it out online.
Is that how you got your capital to invest? Is it?
Yeah, and then started to share my story. Then filming, vlogging, creating Instagram content for Facebook, content for YouTube, and then I was picked up by BBC Three then over lockdown.
Wow.
So what happened during lockdown? I think I actually worked harder than I've ever worked before. So I think within that, I was obviously had a few challenges around lockdown, isolation. I was working longer hours. I was working 10, 12 hours a day. And so everyone went into lockdown. I sort of speeded up quite quickly. And then from there, I wanted to look at designing my next car. So I was talking to my bank manager and he was like, not yet. Do your property deals and then you can look at the car. Because I always love my supercars. So I'll probably move into my supercar.
Your bank manager's like that.
My bank manager was like, no. My bank manager's like, no, to do the house, get somewhere to live first. And then I moved in and started renovating that house then. And then, I designed and customized the first McLaren 600 LT, which is a limited edition car.
Was that your first supercar, the McLaren?
Yeah, so I had the pink Ferrari before that, which was amazing. So I launched that about 18 months before, working with Ferrari in Manchester, which was absolutely fantastic. And I feel blessed for everyone that helped me along the way. And I feel like thankful really for the people that helped me, but also for the haters out there that, you
Haters.
know, yeah, there's always a hater somewhere along the lines. And I think what you need to do is just stand up to them and just keep proving that you're success no matter what, and just keep doing positive things. I think the minute that we, you know, stand up to them, of course, but I think the one thing that you can do that can really bug a hater is be more successful.
Yeah.
So just carry on being successful and being yourself.
So going back to COVID then, obviously a lot of people were stuck in ruts. Their routines were just ruined. And was there any times where you looked back at yourself and thought, hang on a minute, Lise, you got to sort this out?
Yeah, so the beginning of the first lockdown, I really struggled with it. It hit me, you know, like a lead balloon, probably like a lot of people, because we'd never been in lockdown before and we just didn't know what to expect. So yeah, I rushed to the shop and asked and said, "Can you give me 6 bottles of alcohol?" I didn't drink them all at once, mind, but I wasn't sure entirely what to expect, and obviously I was a bit worried about friends and family, and you know all the things that go through any normal person's mind, really. And then it was about three months into lockdown, and I was sat there and I was thinking, we're in lockdown. Lisa, you're sat here on the sofa. What are you doing? You need to get out there. You need to, you know, progress. You need to move forward in whatever way that looks like. So yeah, I got up. I thought, right, I'm going to start training. So I started fitness training. I started running. I started reading books. I started listening to more positive programming on YouTube and listening to more inspirational videos. I switched off the news. I thought there's no way I can listen to the news any longer. So one top tip for people who are thinking, you know, about starting up a business or starting up a venture in their local area, my top tip would be don't listen to the news. Because the news is always quite negative, and I think
traders are going to be like, no.
Yeah, it fills people with fear. And I think, you know, switch off the news, surround yourself with positive people, and really, you know, look at things online and talk to people in your local community about what they're doing. And see, I always believe that it's not always about money that can help you get ahead. Sometimes it's about people around you that can help you make things happen. And so I switched the news off. I started training. I got my head down. I was working on all my contracts. I started working with the NatWest Premier Black team. I started working with Coops Bank. I started learning a lot from you know, new people.
How were you meeting these people? What were you doing? Going to networking events and just
So I was going to networking events. I was having conversations with them over the phone.
Zoom.
COVID. Yeah, doing a lot of Zoom workshops, having quite a lot of Zoom chats online. But then once you know that phase of lockdown, you know, sort of fade, I felt like I was turning into a bit of a robot because I was just sat there. I was like, this is digital Lisa, sat here in front of a laptop, constantly on Zoom. I thought, I don't sign up to this. This is not the person I am. And I just
Did you ever rebel?
Yes, I wanted to get back on the road. And I think it was early part in January after the next lot of lockdowns. I just thought, you know, it was challenging for me. I missed my family, I missed my friends, you know, I miss some of the things that were there, you know, before and were quite normal. I missed all of that. It's probably similar to everybody. But I just thought, right, Lisa, I want to make a difference. I want to do something, you know, new. And I decided to start creating a community of people. So I thought, right, let's create a community of like-minded people who were all going to be in a similar situation to me. And I started to have meetups over the house, breakfast, coffee mornings. I would pull some of my friends in and say, let's have a coffee morning, let's have a chat, let's go out and have a drive. That started off with 5 supercars, now turned into more than 100 supercars plus that we're now working with us. But also I think it's young people and community members, women and girls. I've got older people who were dropping in and out of our new place, Pink in the Vale, and people are just popping out to, you know, get together and create a community. And I think that's sometimes what it's about. It's about creating people around you and creating like-minded entrepreneurs, but people that support you in your journey. There's no point in having negative people around you if they don't support you and where you're planning to go. I always believe in trying to be quite positive as well. So I always try and give back my time. and always create new projects that make a difference. So I think if you stick to what you believe in, then you can make a difference. And I believe that every person, like over lockdown, may have had a number of challenges with drugs or alcohol. And I just think
Domestic
violence,
happened, weren't it?
Things chopped and changed. Like, my other half, he went through like mental health issues, depression, and it affects many people in many. It's affected everybody.
I can imagine it even affected you.
Yeah, it affected me because I was used to being out in the community quite a lot.
Away from your husband.
But yeah, I think, it has affected me, but potentially not as sociable as I was before. I'm still sociable, but but I think it affected everyone in the sense that people went into this isolation mode.
Yeah.
It's time, like, you don't really sit that back and reflect, do you, much? So it gave everyone time to do that.
Yeah, so it's given people time to like reshape, where they want to go. It gave me a lot of time to, go to the gym and have a run. I went running on the seawall. I was doing lots of free things, and I think that's really good to do things that are free. So running, reading, maybe gardening, just do those things that can just, help. Going for a cuppa with a friend. Those things can really help you. And I think everybody has been affected in some way or other. I lost one of my good friends from COVID, which was really upsetting. Richie Shannon. And that affected me very deeply.
Rest in peace.
He was always, a photographer, friend, and really lovely character. And I just think like he'll always be in my memories. And whenever we're organising supercar events, he sort of comes back, and I'm like, oh, where's Richie? He's not here. So it did affect me quite a lot. But people don't see that side of things affecting other people.
No, of course.
How do you cope? Like, what do you do? Like, because it's such a sad thing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it was really upsetting for me because I spoke to him a few days before over the phone, and I said, in a couple of weeks I'll pick you up. You can come over to the new house and have a chat. And then he passed away. And that did affect me because he was fairly young, and people, we have these things in our lives, don't we, that affect us. And I think it is upsetting, and I think it's okay to be upset and grieve for a while. And then I think sometimes you need to sit back and move on.
None of us live forever, innit?
Yeah, so I think for me, it's always looking at how we can do things in a positive way as well. And remember, people in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I think, for me, I know like Richie Shannon would love the fact that, we were successful and we keep pushing forward and sharing the inspiration with other people.
He wouldn't want you like staying in one place.
Yeah.
Talking of moving on then, just to finish off on the COVID, was there anything when you were sat there, especially in the first lockdown, you've got a really busy life, there's so many things you're doing. We had Robert Earnshaw on the other day, and he said like where his life was so busy, lockdown gave him the opportunity to see what he didn't need in life and what was important to him. Was there any things you cut off during lockdown?
I think some of the things that I cut off is that I did find myself, running around here and there quite often. So it was a time for reflection and to think about what I really wanted to achieve out of life. So for me, I always loved supercars, cars, customizing cars. I know lots of people are like, Lisa, she's car mad, she's car crazy. If they see me when I was younger, I was always racing around in the local area.
Was it mostly
Vauxhall Nova?
No, I haven't knocked anyone over.
Was it like the aesthetics of the car?
I said Vauxhall Nova.
I thought you said
I haven't knocked anyone over. What are you on about?
Sorry.
I'm not joking. Sorry, Luke. What was you saying?
Yeah. Was it about like the aesthetics, or were you actually into driving, like racing?
Yeah, I was more into driving and racing. So when I was younger, I was going to the Max Power shows, always, with the boys in the garages, always chatting to them, asking them to help out with the car, was customizing my cars. Everyone knows that I'm like, oh, what's Lisa doing now? Or she wants pink calipers, or she wants something else done to her car. She wants this, wants that. So
are you very picky and like I got OCD? Are you very like everything you want in design? Is it very particular?
Yeah, I'm quite particular on design and how I like things to look. I've got pink Fendi wall in the house, or Fendi inspired wall, which I designed, which is really quirky. But it's not like too much. I like the pink McLaren. When I designed that that was amazing. 0 to 120 in 6 seconds. That car, it's built for the track.
Wow.
So the car the reason why I love that car is because it was more masculine, and I designed that car. It was like pink with a matte black roof, and it's like £50,000 worth of carbon fibre extras on there. That was one of my favourite cars of all time to like drive. So it's not just about the design and look for me; it's about the whole experience.
Well, it's kind of like you said, I was a tomboy, I like my boxing and stuff, very like male dominant type of sports and stuff. But then the pink, innit, like is very female. So the car is kind of similar to who you are. It's a reflection on who you are as a person.
Yeah. So the McLaren 600 LT long tail is 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, 0 to 120 in just over 6. I've taken it on the track. I've been working with Formula One, Formula Women on the weekends, in motorsport. I've been racing around top speed. I've taken that car 187 miles per hour,
Wow.
90 round the bend. That was on the runway, and I was like, right, I'm going to beat all the Lamborghinis, all the Ferraris. It's that competitive element to me.
Is it quite addictive, man? To
Yeah.
adrenaline and stuff? Because I ride bikes, and I know what it's like when your hands on that throttle and you're moving. Like it just you're not even thinking, you're just doing it flow state.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lisa.
No, obviously they're not super bikes, yeah, but like I'm just saying, like, is it like that?
You ride
that's
pedal
what it-
bikes.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it's like for me.
Yeah, 187 miles an hour. The McLaren was shaking. The
Touching
the back box nearly
Yeah.
blew up.
Wow.
I pushed the car to its absolute ultimate, nearly to its limits. I mean, top speed is 205 in the McLaren, but the adrenaline hits you. So,
You a top driver then?
and personally, I mean, I think I'm a good driver. Other people might say no because they might have seen me racing around.
Yeah, but it might just be fear. They just think you're dangerous in the car. But do you think you are behind the wheel? You're pretty special.
Well, I think I like driving around and racing around and driving the McLaren, and the technology built into that is amazing. But the Ferrari is also amazing. Like
Yeah, I
the
was
pink
going to
Ferrari.
say, sorry, what was that bold statement you said about Ferrari when you drove a Ferrari? What did they tell you?
Well, Ferrari initially said they would never design a pink Ferrari, so I'm excited to work and customize the next Ferrari with them.
Which
I
is
really
gonna be
like the
pink.
F8.
No, but you said that Ferrari said, they said I was the best driver I ever been behind a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Come on, now, a few times.
Yeah. So
Didn't
I
want to
was-
tell anyone that, did she?
yeah, so I was when I went up to, I was testing the Ferrari Portofino, and when I got up there, I said, "Are there any spots for me to test the F8?" And they were like, "Oh, let me just check now, Pink." So they were like, "Yeah, we got one spot for you." So they let me go out in the F8, and I took that out with one of the Ferrari race drive professional drivers, and I sat in the car, and he got out the car. He said, "Literally, you are the best driver that I've ever had in this car." I thought, I'll take that hands down.
Have you been in any
Only 3
competitions?
people went in the F8 though. That was the thing she never said.
Isn't it?
It was quite a few people that went in the F8. Yeah, they had quite a lot of quite a lot of people went into the F8 to test it. I really love that car. It's absolutely amazing. So I've designed and customized the next one, the Ferrari F8, and black with pink, which would be pretty.
Have you competed then in competitions like race?
Yeah, so I was working recently with the Formula Women to become one of the top 6 females in motorsport.
Okay.
And I've got down, I think it's the top 150 I'm in at the moment. So I've been on the track in Anglesey. I'm competing to become one of the top 6 female race drivers.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's next level.
So yeah, I'm doing that on the weekends and the evenings.
Are you looking to film the journey as well?
Yeah, so we're planning to film the whole journey then, and I'm really excited about that opportunity. Because when I was younger, there was not those opportunities around, but now there's more and more opportunities for people to get into industries, like male-dominated industries, and there's lots of opportunities now for people to get into different areas.
Do you ever pinch yourself and think, wow, I've got a life like. I know it's all I know it's all hard work. Like I'm not trying to say like oh look at your life, but do you ever think like, wow, my life is like compared to others like.
Yeah, I mean, I do have to pinch myself and think sometimes I sit back and think, wow, how did I get here?
Yeah.
I lived in a council estate in Llanedin with my nan, and then we moved to Inverness Place in Roath. I lived in a caravan, for 2 to 3 years with my dad on a building site, and I never, thought that I would be where I am today. But yeah, I do sit back and pinch myself and think, I look outside and I think, how did I get here? This is it's pretty spectacular, because I think it's amazing like what you can achieve when you put your mind to it. But if I can do it, anyone can do it. And that's the message really, is that if you're prepared to put the work in, if you're prepared to work hard and put the work in, then you can achieve anything you want to. Of course. And I know over lockdown it's been challenging, but I believe that anyone can shape their future and create a path for themselves. So I think for me, it's just sharing that story. But yeah, I do have to pinch myself sometimes.
Okay, then. I want to move on a bit. Obviously, us here at the Central Club, we like to talk about like overcoming challenges and stuff like that. We've had like conversations before about some of the biggest challenges you've covered, and one of the big ones you highlighted was some of the hateful comments you've had online and stuff like that. Can we touch into that a bit and try and push some type of inspiration to people out there who are getting these type of hate comments?
Yeah, so I think with some of the comments that I've had online, some of my stories have gone out to about 20 million people worldwide and locally. So some of the comments on there have been, hateful. And I think, everyone's entitled to have their opinion on, being a public figure. Obviously, some people might say, well, she puts herself out there, she deserves it. Or, she's the one putting herself forward. So, I can comment on it, and that's absolutely fine. But I think it does affect people in their own ways. Having whether it's a direct comment to you or it's online, it does have an impact on people and how they feel. And having a comment online is probably just as bad as someone coming up to you in the street and punching you in the face. And that might actually be a little bit easier.
It's not like a physical scar, it's like an emotional scar, isn't it? If that makes sense.
It's a virtual scar, yeah. And I think for anyone like dealing with these types of challenges, it's quite tough, and it can be, I think you need to think about how you either remove yourself from that or maybe don't look at that so much and carry on focusing on the positive side, which can be challenging. But I think, for me, I just think with hate crime increasing online and hate crime, in all sorts of different areas, I think we need to take a stronger stance on it. Like with UK government, maybe they should stop or block hate crime comments. And I think, as humans, I think we just need to be a bit kinder to each other. And I think we just need to celebrate each other's successes more, because all of us are different and all of us are built different. But I think if we start to be kinder towards each other and towards our, people who are around us, then we actually make much more of a difference in people's lives. So, yeah, I think personally, I always believe in being kind. But obviously, sometimes that's a challenge, because if you've got someone who wants to fight with you head on, they want to take you into the boxing ring, and they're like, right, come on, let's fight. And you're thinking, well, how do I handle this? Yeah. Do I fight with them, or do I act in kindness constantly? Yeah. But it is tricky.
I think there's a difference, isn't it, with like hate comments and trolls. Colin, and that's a big thing as well, I know. But I think with hate comments, you just got to take them with a pinch of salt. It's like we say, you don't know what's going on in their lives at that time. Could have woke up on the wrong side of the bed. They've seen your post. Yeah. That's a hate comment. I think when it gets serious is when it turns to trolling, and people are actually tagging you every move and making fake accounts and that type of stuff. Have you had that? Have you had that?
Yeah, I've had that. I've had hate mail. I've had written death
threats. Through the door or
through the door? Yeah, through the door.
Through the
door. I've had a couple of stalkers, which just constantly, So I've had to deal with some of that.
It's the pink. It is.
Like, it's a lot of jealousy. Like it seems to be like anyone who's successful, they end up getting a lot of jealous people come to knock them back down and bring them back down.
Jealousy.
Yeah,
I've been there myself.
I think the main thing to do is when you're faced with some of these challenges is to carry on pushing forward, carry on, maybe not focus so much on the person where the hate crime is coming from, because there is that challenge. You think, initially I thought I was going to take one of these people to court for harassment, and my solicitor said, it's going to cost you £13,000 to do that. And I thought, right, okay, first of all, I'm not really interested in spending £13,000
on this guy,
I thought, I'm not interested in wasting my time on this person. I thought, to be honest,
living rent free in their head. You know that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you live rent free in their heads. That's what you got to look at it like.
Yeah.
So basically, I just thought, well, I'm just going to carry on focusing on what I love and what I'm good at, which is my supercars, focusing on that, focusing on sharing that passion with other people, and just continuing to do, what I love.
Yeah.
And I think if you follow what you love, then, the rest is history. You become a role model by just inspiring others, because what you're not doing is you're not fighting back. You're actually focusing on what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And sometimes I believe that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, 100%.
So what have you got planned now in right now in the future? Anything exciting? I do know you've got an event. I believe it's on the 21st.
Yeah, so we've got a big event that we're hosting. Wales Goes Fast and Furious, because we've been hosting these big supercar parties once a month. And we've been getting the whole community involved in them, getting new performers involved in new artists and getting more people involved in them. And we're very excited about this. The last event we had in Cardiff, we had around 1,000 people attending. We had 70 supercars came in from all over the country. So
Is that the most you've had, 70?
Yeah, so we had the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, McLarens came in. We'll possibly get some of the Bugattis, the Porsches in.
Wow.
And we're now collaborating with Aston Martin. So they're going to have some of their Aston Martins at the next event and possibly unveil one of their showcase cars, which is absolutely awesome.
What was because I've seen you doing reviews and stuff as well. What was the last car you reviewed and what was that about? The Ferrari, is it?
Yeah, so I reviewed the Ferrari F50, so £1.9 million limited edition car. They only made 175 of those for Europe. I had the opportunity to vlog that car, get close to it, get up close and personal to it. And that car is absolutely amazing. And then the Aston Martin have got the new Valhalla, which is a concept. They've just produced a couple of those at the moment. They're £1 million cars. Obviously, you've got the Bugattis as well, which are quite cool.
Will we see one of them at the event?
Yeah, well, we're just talking now to see whether we can get like the Valhalla there, and talking to some of our other partners to see if they can pull in some of these big
Nice.
Exclusive
concept cars. So we're very, very excited about the next show. We're expecting more than 100 supercars to turn up on the airfield in St Athan.
Has that ever been done?
It's the UK's biggest supercar party.
Doing bits for Cardiff,
UK.
Wales, really, you know.
Yeah, so this is going to be absolutely massive. We've got a headline DJ lined up, and this is going to be big. This is the biggest show that I'll ever put on this year in history. It's the biggest event that I've ever pulled off. And I've got about 30 days to organise it, so wish me luck. But we're very, very excited, and we've got people coming in from all over the country. We'll probably have people flying in from helicopter to come and see this event, which will be held in a car park over on the airfield.
Yeah, well, at least you've got the airfield next by, they can come and land in it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice little spot.
We've got the airplanes just on
St.
the
Athens is
spot.
lovely, you know.
It's an amazing spot. We're very excited about that, and we'd love to get you all involved in that, and open up the invitation to you and everyone that wants to come along.
Nice.
Well, anyone listening, really appreciate it. There's another thing I want to go on about as well. We got to highlight it because I think it's such amazing what you do with PINKSPIRATION. Obviously, I can tell the cars are definitely your hobby and passion. What do you do to help? So I believe you train up like asylum seekers and stuff like that. Is it can you just touch on a bit like what you do and maybe how other people could get involved?
Yeah, so we train and upskill like young people and community members. They could be young offenders or those at risk of offending, young mums, single dads, asylum seekers, to train and upskill in basic construction skills and help them get back into construction industry or business. So we've trained and upskilled more than 10,000 young people over the past few years. And we're really excited now about starting up some of our next projects, which we're looking at over the next 3 years. So we just talked to the lottery, the big lottery fund, about whether we can have a 3-year program that will help to train and upskill 500 young people, women and girls every year over the next 3 years. And as part of that, we'll be doing a number of events to make that happen, transforming some of the empty spaces in the local area, and really just taking that forward and helping to give back, because there's lots of people with so many different talents in our local community, and I think we need to highlight them and help them and give them a stepping stone into into progressing. I know lots of people have been affected by lockdowns and then they may have lost their jobs, or they may be looking to retrain or get into a different industry. So as part of this program, we're looking to train and upskill 1,500 over the next 3 years. We're really excited about how that can make a difference. And really just carry on sharing, my success with others then.
How do people get involved with this? Do they get referred to you, or can they contact you?
So they can get in contact with us through the website, or they can contact us directly. And we're now just looking at, different pots of funding to make the projects bigger and better, and that we can do more projects that will encourage people to work together and to really learn new skills and to get ahead in life, because we've got so many people here in Cardiff, in Wales, that have got so many talents. And I think it's really good that we can set up a programme that will help young people and women and girls to get ahead.
Wow. Are you constantly looking for new things to do then?
Not always. But I just, for me, I just enjoy, giving back. And I think, within your own life, everybody has their own challenges. But if you can use that power to help others, it becomes a superpower. And I think that's the most positive thing that you can do for anyone, is give them either a gift of your time, give them a gift of some good advice, and, just help people along the way.
Nice.
Wow. I've got a couple of questions here, or a couple of what you rathers. Do you know what? It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've really enjoyed this. I didn't think you'd be my cup of tea, to be honest, but I've really... No, honestly, I was saying to Luca and that, because he was like, oh, she's amazing. I didn't realise that, but like, it's really opened my eyes, and like, fair play to you. I got to be fair. Thank you for coming
You are
down.
an inspiration.
You are a PINKSPIRATION.
PINKSPIRATION.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
No, I just really enjoyed it, and I just want to say thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
It's been
Well,
fantastic.
we haven't finished yet.
Oh, okay.
All right. But we nearly are. So basically, I ask all these people, like, what you rather questions. There's some for yourself, and then some we ask everyone. So the first one would be, if you could only have one of these cars for the rest of your life, which one would it be? A Ferrari or a Porsche?
What, the Ferrari or the Porsche? Which
it's only-
Ferrari or Porsche?
Ferrari or Porsche?
Ferrari.
Any
What,
reasons?
McLaren or Ferrari?
Both.
So the Porsche is not the best.
No,
Basically.
I love the Porsche. It's really, really nice car. It is an amazing car to have. But yeah, Ferrari.
For levels.
Ferrari or McLaren wins for me.
Okay.
Okay.
If there was no such thing as magenta pink, which one of these would you have went with? Bubblegum or flamingo?
A flamingo.
You know, I seen on your Instagram, like you said, you've got a Fendi wall. You like your designer. What do you prefer, Moschino or Fendi?
Moschino.
Why?
I'm a Moschino girl. I just like Moschino.
Okay.
I think because it's
90s.
Loud as well, and you're quite like,
I think I just like Moschino
Suits you.
because it stands out a little bit.
Okay.
I like the the patterns and the colours and being bold.
Yeah.
I think it's quite cool to stand out. And yeah, I encourage everyone basically to think big or be bold. Like, that's my two sayings that I quite like to pass on.
Nice.
So Moschino does stand by that.
Okay, then. You obviously like Formula One. You're a Formula One lady. Which one of these Formula One drivers is your personal favourite? Lewis Hamilton or Nico Rosberg?
Lewis Hamilton.
Any reason for that?
I just think he's an awesome driver. He's always in his own lane. Just love him.
Fair
I
enough.
really like Daniel Ricciardo as well. Very inspirational.
Damn. Ricardo or Hamilton?
And Ricciardo.
Really? What, for his driving antics or for other things?
Well, one of the things Daniel Ricciardo recently said after he won the Formula One was that as he was driving around, he really enjoyed being the target. And I think sometimes in life, when you do things that are different, you are a target. So he enjoyed that whole experience of being, ahead and embracing that. So I just like some of the
Wow,
things
I'm
that he
glad
stands
I mentioned
for.
Ricardo.
Nice, yeah.
That was a nice little thing to say. A little late or way too early?
A little late.
Okay, then. We say these four to everyone. If you could explore one of these, deep sea or deep space?
Deep space.
Reasons?
I think space would be a cool place to go. I like watching the stars at night.
You trying to jump on Richard Branson's fucking shuttle? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
No, actually, the reason why the reason why space is because in the nighttime I always look out at the stars and reflect and try and spot some shooting stars and just try and put myself, into space.
Especially by the seaside, by Lantwick Way now.
Yeah.
Like, there's no light pollution. It's beautiful.
It's really beautiful. And sometimes in life, I think, like in the pink McLaren as well, and in life, you have to try and create space around you in life to do things that you want to do. And you have to try and block out, any noises and anything.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always about creating space.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Well, maybe you won't believe this. I know which one you're going to say here then if you like space. Are you a flat earther or a round earth?
Good question. Flat earth or round earth? Round earth.
Okay. Are you a mild or a spice?
Spice.
Okay. And we asked this one, like I said to everyone as well, if you could have 2 superpowers, one for yourself and one for humanity, what would they be?
2 superpowers would be, I would say, like to create your own space would be a good one, so that you can achieve your dreams or achieve your goals. So that would be quite a good superpower. And sometimes I think we get clogged down with too many noises around us to be able to achieve our dreams and our goals. So creating space is number 1.
Nice.
And that's a really good superpower. The next superpower I would give to people is people power. Having a community of like-minded, positive people around you that can help you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice.
If you could look down that camera, is there anything you'd like to finish off, say to people, the viewers of the Central Club, leave them with something nice?
So my top 3 tips would be for viewers of the Central Club would be to work hard, play hard, and always give back your time.
Boom.
Wow. Sharp, effective.
Nice.
Laura, Lisa
Nice
Marie Brown,
to
honestly,
meet you.
thank you so much. Honestly, it's been a real pleasure, and you
to
brighten
meet you.
up my Sunday. Put it that way.
Do you know what? You brighten mine up too.
Nice.
Definitely.
Thanks very much.
Hey,
Is that the interview?
yeah, just want to say thank you to everyone for watching.
Go subscribe.
Thank Lisa, go check her out. She got this big event now on the 21st of November. If you want to get involved, reach out to her on all your socials. We'll put them up on the screen anyway. Thank you for
very
watching.
much.
Stay central.
The Central Club.